Well, hello again, Buccaneer fans. It's time for yet another edition of the Buccaneer Update here on CSUSports.com. Rob Walden, joined as always at this time by our head coach of the CSU football team, Jay Mills. And Coach, a difficult loss to open up the Big South Conference portion of your schedule on Saturday, 27-20 to Gardner-Webb. I want to take you back about 2 minutes left in the game. You guys had just scored to tie it up at 20. Gardner-Webb, however, comes back with a pretty good touchdown drive to win it, and you got to give credit to the running Bulldogs, a great way to cap the game and really showed their skill.
Well, no question about it. They're an excellent football team. The only two losses they've had all year have been to Division I FBS opponents, and they've received national votes for top 25 rankings as well, too. With a large number of returning starters, we knew that they would be a tough challenge, and particularly up there, but we also were very confident that we would rise to that challenge, and we competed nose-to-nose, eyeball-to-eyeball right until those last few seconds. Very proud of our guys and the way they performed and how hard they competed in overcoming some of the obstacles during the course of the game, and definitely some things to build upon.
You and I talked after the game about how close it was and how one play here or there in a game that's that close can make the difference, and you said for you guys it was the turnovers. Turned it over on your first drive of the game through a touchdown in the red zone. That took points off the board. Also threw a touchdown in the third quarter that set Gardner-Webb up in prime position for points. It's little things like that in a game that's decided by a touchdown that ends up costing it in the end.
Well, no question. Two evenly matched teams, and that's basically what we have, and that's what college football's become, really. There's a lot of parity, and that's good. It's exciting for the fans to be able to watch those games, but it really produces an environment where the margin for error is very slim, and we've worked very hard. I couldn't be prouder of this team, how hard they've worked, particularly during that bye week and the next week, and we've really improved as a football team too, and you could see that during the course of the game. But basically, as we always talk about, most games are lost rather than won, and the turnovers were key in this game, and also some penalties. In the first half, we had 0 penalties. In the second half, we had 6 penalties for 55 yards, and those two factors, more than anything, in a close contest, are going to decide the outcome.
A tough day for quarterback A.J. Toscano, probably his toughest day as a Buccaneer. Completed just 11 passes of his 33 attempts. He threw those 2 interceptions, but still, with you guys trailing 20-13 on your last drive of the game, he engineered a pretty good drive, probably his best drive as a Buccaneer to still tie the game with 20. So while he struggled for 3.5 quarters, I know you have to be proud of the way he finished the game and got you guys in a position to send it into overtime.
Well, from a passing standpoint, you're right. Statistic-wise, the passing was he's had every other game I think was a better performance. But as far as overall leadership, the toughness that he displayed, in the running aspect, because he's a dual threat, I'd have to give him an A from the run game standpoint and from a game management other than the throw on the football. And I learned a long time ago, if you're a great shooter in basketball, you're not always going to be hot. And so you find other ways to contribute, whether it be playing defense, whether it be assist. And I think those are some things that A.J. did along the way. And then when the moment arrived where a play had to be made, making a tremendous throw on that 3rd down and 11, and a tremendous catch, obviously, by Josh Atkinson as well, too. Great players show up, and Coach Kelly always says, in times of crisis, you think of great players, not great plays. It wasn't the play, it was the execution of A.J. and the rest of the offense, and Josh especially.
Yeah, you mentioned Josh Atkinson's touchdown catch that tied the game. It was just his second catch of the year, only the third of his career, his first career touchdown. Talk about the play itself when you send that play in. I know it probably wasn't designed to go to Josh Atkinson, but still, how did the play end up going to a guy that you really haven't used a whole lot in the passing game to this point?
Well, believe it or not, it was designed to go to Josh Atkinson. Oh, wow. So if he's only caught a couple passes, maybe that just shows an error in the coaching that I need to be able to call his number a few more times, and he would argue for that point, particularly when he showed up and showed out in the manner that he did. So it was a play that we had seen on film, a look that we had seen on film that we thought we could take advantage of. And actually, it was very similar to a play that Buffalo had taken advantage of them the week before, and they gave us the exact same look. And again, it was just excellent execution, great protection. Everybody else did what they needed to do. We had Gerald being a little decoy on that route, and it was a tremendous play. And really, when we made that play, I really believed we had the momentum and we were going to pull out that victory. And again, credit to Gardner Webb and a veteran fourth-year starting quarterback and Stan Doolittle coming down to the end and making the plays.
One other specific play that I wanted you to ask about, you guys were down 10-0, came back to take a 13-10 lead, but right before you kicked that last field goal to go up 13-10, you had a 3rd and goal from the 1, decided to call that halfback pass. Talk about what you saw in the Gardner Webb defense that led you to believe that the play would work, and it did work, just the execution in the end, the pass from Antoine Ivey to Anthony Chalmers just a little off the mark.
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One is I take responsibility for that play and every play, and obviously it felt like it was the best play at the time. If I had it all to do over again, I think I would have just ran the football, particularly knowing how well later in the game we ran the football against these guys. Second thing was we thought it was at the 2-yard line is where it was at, so we had one shot to get it in, but we had been practicing that play for, I think it's been about 4 or 5 weeks now. Felt real good about it and felt like we could execute that. Our tendency down there was one pass play in that zone all season long, so we felt like they wouldn't be looking for that as well too. And we wanted to be aggressive. I wanted to be aggressive, throw when they expect to run when they expect to throw, and that's how I believe we've been successful the previous couple of weeks versus Savannah State and North Greenville as well too. So, but hindsight being 20/20, it was a 4-point potential swing had we been able to get the ball in there.
Anybody that was at the game or watched the game on television saw the injury to Nate Kearse. If you could give us an update on his status, I understand that he had surgery earlier in the week. Talk about his spirits and health-wise where he's at right now.
Just talked with him just a couple hours ago, and he had surgery Sunday morning. Some of the blessings, one were that we had excellent, as we always do, medical coverage from our people. Toby Harkins and the medical staff do a tremendous job. And Dr. Dalton was the doctor that was with us on that trip. And I give credit to Gardner Webb's medical staff and athletic training support as well, too. He was able to be there. Another blessing was his father was there, and another blessing his mother wasn't. And his dad joined us out on the field. We prayed with Nate and over Nate, and they were not able to kind of get it corrected on the spot. So he was able to get everything kind of put back in place temporarily, at least, make the travel back to Charleston, which he did with his dad. Had the surgery Sunday, and then was able to get out of the surgery and out of the hospital Sunday night. So he's back on campus and kind of getting transportation issues worked out here. But we expect a full, speedy recovery. And the last thing I'll mention too is how God works is amazing. Is that having watched the TV copy, the color man that covered the game, not knowing what the injury was to Nate, mentioned in his Senior Bowl game following his conclusion of his college career, he mentioned the injury he had, which is the exact injury that Nate had, and he went on to play numerous years in the NFL. So I was able to share that Sunday morning with Nate, that story. That was a bit of an encouragement. It always shows that even in the midst of our difficult circumstances, God's never at slumber. He's always at work behind the scenes, and he's always letting us know, have faith, have hope, I'm there.
That was Brian Jordan on color commentary. He and Mark Bryan, of course, did a great job doing the television broadcast on Saturday. Let's talk a little bit about this Saturday's game against Liberty. The Flames come in nationally ranked. They're 23rd in the Sports Network poll. They got a very strong running game, the top scoring offense in the country. They've done most of their damage on the ground, at least, a very balanced rushing attack. You guys struggled against the run earlier this season, struggled a little bit in the second half that kind of Saturday.
Well, I think they have the character that they possess and the talent and ability that's been God-given, too. But we want to promote CSU. We want to promote and expand the influences that God has given us through the game of football to make this university known on a national basis for integrating faith with leading, learning, and serving, and this weekend gives us an excellent opportunity against a school that has some parallel missions to do that.
Hey, Coach, always a pleasure to talk to you. I know it was a tough one on Saturday, but hopefully we can go get them this Saturday against Liberty and come away with that first Big South win of the year.
Well, we say victory is never final, defeat's never fatal, so we're looking forward to the next one.
All right, that's CSU head coach Jay Mills. His team is in action back at home this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. here at CSU Stadium. And again, that's homecoming, so make sure you come out, support Coach Mills and all of the Buccaneers as they try to score their first conference victory of the season. Of course, if you can't be here, you can watch it live on the Big South Network, as well as listen to it in the Charleston area on FM 106.3 WJNI. For Coach Mills, I'm Rob Walden. Don't forget, Saturday at 1:30, we'll see you there, and we'll see you next time right here on CSUSports.com.